Pulling out bright and early on a Friday morning. Ooh, that's bright, isn't it? Bright and early on a Friday morning. Headed to Starkville today, do the radio show there. That's the plan. But a new setup, place to stay, a condo that I have access to in Starkville. Going to be using it a lot. Like the song said, working at the car wash, you may not ever get rich. It sure beats digging a ditch. This will be the first time to go. I've never tested the internet connection either, so several objectives, missions, checkpoints today. 1, get there in time to check everything before we go on the air at noon. Check the internet, make sure the connection works. Number 2, make sure I have a long enough cable. 3rd objective would be, best case scenario, get all that done in time to go for a walk on campus. Maybe even run it to that table. Nice place though, big nice TV. You can sit right there, I gotta get it all figured out. Is there enough of this? Stretch. Gee. That's good. It's blinking. Look at that connection. You radio people know what I'm talking about. 99.99. Yeah. All right, so everything's here. Equipment, we'll set that up. Go on the air at 12. And what I have 2 hours, at least about a 30-minute walk in on campus. Maybe a little longer. I typically would love to, 50 minutes minimum, about an hour is what you're shooting for on a walk. But in this case, time just a little more crunch, so I'm gonna have to get back, make sure we get set up in time for the show. Let's go. Fascinating thing. Not a bad parking space. Yeah. 10:15. And so I got up 45 minutes before I need to be back at the car pulling away in time to go get cleaned up, get set up, and be calmed down and ready for the radio show. So 10:15, we'll hoof it around campus until right up till 11 o'clock. Davis Wade, see you soon. I saw that in an earlier vlog. It's a pretty good sign. There's people working, buzzing around. They must be getting ready just in case. School of Chemical Engineering. I'm not even sure they'd let me in that building. Right up in this area, we're kind of in the vicinity of the football stadium out that way. My parents used to park up here for ball games. People would tailgate, and in these areas of campus. And we would walk through all of those on the way to the car after the game, or I would walk my parents to the car. And back then, Coach Sherrill actually used to do a call-in show for fans to call in right after the game on the radio, which is unheard of nowadays. And as we'd be walking through all these tailgates and tents up here to where my parents would park, we could hear the show and we could hear people calling in. And when I was playing, a lot of times the fans would call in and ask Coach, like, hey, when are you gonna bench that Wyatt kid and let somebody else play quarterback? And we'd hear all that stuff, and sometimes it hurt, and other times we just laugh and get a kick out of it as we walk to the car after the game. Can you imagine an SEC coach doing a call-in show now as soon as the game is over? It's incredible. It'd be radio gold though. You could sell it for whatever you wanted to sell it for. That is Dorman Hall, hands down the ugliest building on campus, and unfortunately one of the most visible when people come here. It's right next to the football stadium. Fascinating thing. enjoyed that walk and just wish I had more time. Wish I had gotten here earlier to give myself a little more time. Yeah, so I got about 40 minutes of walking in, and again, you would prefer an hour at the very least. But that's all I have time for today. Head back over and get set up for the radio show. It's really nice. Big open room, just big open. Kitchen, range, microwave, and lots of seating, TV, and I just set up right there for the show. Back on the show, Dr. Brojo and I hanging out with you here today on a Friday. So call me on the Davini phone, 995-1059. Oh, I say JB. I think I got that from when you used to call us. So sometimes on the call screen, it would say JB.
That's kind of what I go by.
A guy named Richard Hay, who is the Mississippi State Ag Extension Agent in Amite County, and he was friends with Katie Johnson, Katie Clower, who is one of Jerry's daughters, Jerry and Homerlene's daughters, and she was nice enough on a day when she was trying to get her family together 2 years ago to go and play in a baseball tournament somewhere in Louisiana, to give us 2 hours to go through this museum, which is about a little bit bigger than this condo we're sitting in.
That worked out really well. First time connection worked for the radio show. It did drop out once, but that's not a big deal. Stuff just happens. I do think it's going to be reliable. So that means I can come here and do all the radio I want to do. And the biggest thing is just having a way to sort of plan some regular trips here and be comfortable while doing it. It's a luxury. It's not a must. You don't have to have it. It is a luxury, but it's a luxury I haven't had before. Should be a real positive. I've had Chick-fil-A on my mind for several hours. Not going with the full meal, but definitely getting a couple of tasty treats from Chick-fil-A. I want to get a yogurt parfait with granola. I totally forgot to put my mask on. It's almost like I need to leave it on because I can't remember to put it back on.